Whoops.
The one thing you never want to hear from a Dom. Whoops.
Warp!
Oh my God.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, give me one. I'm almost done with this chapter.
Oh my God. Ready?
No, give me a sec.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome back to.
Put your book down.
Oh, sorry. I'm Amp,
Mr. Christopher.
and today we're going on a bizarre adventure.
I can't get his attention this morning.
Is that stranger than fiction?
You're stranger than fiction.
Today we are talking about fan fiction. And I just want to start out by saying that previously in our room tours, you guys dragged me to filth because I didn't read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Surprise, I have a full collection. But also I just wanted One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Hikaru no Go, Reborn, some of my favorite animes, Bleach, Naruto, Berserk. Come for me because I've read them all.
What's Naruto? So somebody was coming after me if I'd done Naruto. Is that just one character or is that the series?
And today we're talking about fan fiction. I don't even have time to explain Naruto to you.
I don't even. I have none of the time.
But Daddy, before we can talk about fan fiction, what is fan fiction?
That's easy. I prepared for this.
Oh.
It's for all the thwarpers out there. Look.
Oh,
Hey, wait. I did this
maybe
before.
flip it around. Oh my God.
It's like for all the fanners, like flaggers.
Actually, not about fans whatsoever, but I'm gonna be the fan dom. And
Is that like a findom? I'm so confused.
well, let me cool you down. Memoirs of a Geisha is one of my favorite films, and in that she not only does she thwarp. Yeah, now you know how I feel. Not only does she thwart, but she also like throws it.
Oh, that's like Madonna did in the. Did you ever see her do Vogue on MTV Awards in 1990?
So fan fiction. So the quick and dirty definition of what fan fiction is fan-written stories with characters from big fandoms. So you're looking at Harry Potter, you're looking at Supernatural, you're looking at maybe real people, like One Direction has a huge fandom of fan fiction online.
What size is our fandom? This big? Do we have this huge fandom?
We do have a fandom. And so we asked you guys if there was any fan fiction out there. We asked you guys what terms you want to know. We also asked you guys how you would start a story about us.
Oh God.
But first, I want to break down what fan fiction is, the definitions, and just speed through and give someone just a basic understanding of what fan fiction is and why people enjoy it.
We're gonna speed read through.
I'm gonna speed read you here.
You're gonna speed read you.
Fan fiction was actually popularized on the internet. In fact, it was popularized by the Star Trek fandom, by their fanzines where they would have fan-issued stories for some of their favorite characters. Sometimes being erotic, but sometimes just showing love for something they are really, really invested in. But fan fiction is not inherently sexual to begin with. But those supernatural fandoms are horny, so.
And all the fan fictions I've ever read has been horny.
Oh really? What fan fictions have you read?
Well, I'm in one.
Wait, what?
I'm in Casey Wells's book, Pride and Protection.
Are you in the book?
Well, no, it's not. The character's not Mr. Christopher.
It's like a derivative work, which is what fan fiction technically is.
My image is the character. It's very hot. I'm very hot in it.
So hot right now. And actually, Casey Wells' book might bring up a good kind of term, which is canon. What do you think canon is in fan fiction?
A camera.
Well, yeah. Shout out to our camera currently, Canon.
If you want to sponsor us, Canon, we're gonna talk about you.
But fan fiction is generally derivative. In fact, did you know that Twilight is actually a derivative fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey?
Just did a bad thing. I regret the thing I did.
If you were to guess, what do you think canon refers to in fan fiction?
Werewolves.
Why?
Didn't you just say Twilight was like
No, but what do you think canon means?
what you shoot them with?
Oh my God. So canon in fan fiction actually refers to if something is real within the timeline of that series. So sometimes there's like alternate universes where characters that aren't generally gay might be having gay relationships. And we call that slash.
Wait, I thought we were on Canon. We're going really fast.
So what do you think slash is?
It's when you cut You slash right to the
The
part
sex.
of it. Yeah,
Oh,
right to
oh.
the sex, yes. You slash out the rest and get right to the meat of it.
That's not it.
No.
So in this case, slash fiction is actually putting two characters that are not generally attracted together of the same sex and making them have sexy times.
So it's very gay specific?
Yeah, so generally they're not canon gay, but in a slash fic they might be gay and, you know, demonetized. There's also female on female slash though, and I wonder if there's like non-binary on non-binary slash. Is that a thing?
You're
I
telling
ask
me. I
you.
don't know.
Other terminology include AU, which stands for
Australia.
AU stands for alternate universe, which I guess Australia is an alternate universe of America. Another term that was pointed out, one-shots. What do you think a one-shot is?
When you don't want to get drunk, so you just stick to one shot.
You're not far off. So a one-shot, much like just taking one shot, is a single chapter that is a complete story all at once. There's not multiple chapters. It's not an ongoing saga.
One shot of gray.
Not 50 shots of crap.
Not 50 shots. Just one shot.
Okay, we're gonna speed through these. The next term,
Okay.
squeeze.
That's when you go squeeze.
Again, not far off.
See?
It is when you physically make that sound because you are so excited for the part of the story. How about ship?
That's how you get your book. It's delivered to you, you ship it.
You give them shipping and handling?
Oh, I know that one. That is where you take two names and you cramp them together.
Yeah, well, yes. Christopher Amp, Cramp is our
right.
ship. Absolutely.
See,
well
it
done.
has two meanings. Cramp. I am a fan fiction.
More like flan fiction.
Ooh, we have flan?
No, we don't. I did order us lunch though. It should be
Ooh,
here soon.
Fantastic.
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 Another term that gets used a lot is a trope. Do you know what a trope is?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
That's not how this game works.
A trope is something you use when you run out of stuff for bondage.
Trope.
You grab trope. 'cause you
Last
ran out
minute
of
rope.
It's backup rope.
What does the T stand for?
You tell me. Tell me the T.
Give me the tea.
Tropes are kind of like topics or themes or devices that are used all the time within fiction of all sorts, whether it's fan fiction or not. So in fan fiction, you might see tropes of like body swapping or gay relationships, or you might have like MPreg is a big trope within fan fiction. And then I think one of the biggest ones that you probably actually know is fan service. What is fan service?
Fan service is something that you just put in there to make your customers happy.
Yeah, kind of. So like if people really enjoyed like Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy in a gay relationship, that is a type of fan service because that fan fiction arena really enjoys that apparently. Allegedly. I wouldn't know anything about that. What? Accio slash fiction.
Accio. I thought you were about to do a Harry Potter spell. Accio.
Daddy, that is a Harry Potter spell.
Oh, okay. See, I knew something.
Petrificus Tropetalis, where you summon.
Hogwarts.
Oh, no, if you have Hogwarts, please get checked. But speaking of fan fiction, we did actually ask you guys on social media if you could find us any, well, you asked them for flan fiction, which I think was a typo in your part, but
Did I really say flan?
show that tweet here. And in today's fictitious episode, we are going to read some of your fan fiction.
Ooh, I love this. I had a very sexy one sent to me.
Oh,
I had a fan who wrote some fan fiction and wanted me to perform it for him.
go for it.
You want to hear it? Okay.
I'm tentatively scared because reading is what, Daddy?
Hard.
And maybe someone will be hard after they hear this fan
Okay.
fiction.
So, this story is called The Stalker. I think I'm the stalker.
And why am I not surprised?
So, this was sent to me by a fan who wrote this story about me kidnapping him. His name's Steve.
Okay.
And this is me explaining to Steve what is going on. I think it's time you heard an explanation of what is happening. Let me introduce myself. My name is Christopher. Should I say that in a lower voice?
Get into a character. The real Mr. Christopher.
My name is Christopher. I have been watching you for months, boy. I saw you one day getting in your car and followed you home. I'm kind of a stalker in this. That was not
We
good.
jump right into it.
You really got my attention, and I needed to find out why. I began following you, learning your habits and routines. Then I began going into your house and finding. Oh, now I'm breaking and entering. Maybe this isn't good.
This is not canon.
Then I began going into your house and finding out as much as I could about you. What I found out answered the question of why you affected me so much.
And then what happens?
Well, Steve stared in horror as he listened to the man. I get that a lot.
Here, I'll act out Steve's part, and you act out your parts.
Okay. He'd been stalking him and he had no idea. Now the things he thought he'd noticed made more sense. This guy had been in his house. Steve didn't want to know what he had found there. Of course, I'm going to tell you. The first thing I found of interest was your secret stash of bondage porn. The magazines and videos you had hidden away. That told me a lot.
Not my doujinshi, the one piece of information that gives away all of my sexual fantasies.
So I threw all your doujinshi books out. It's right here.
Oh, okay. Then what happened to Steve?
I discovered quite a lot on your computer. That really got my interest up. Who would have thought you were into the same types of things that I was? I knew when I saw you there was something about you. After a lot of planning and waiting, I decided now was the time to make my move. With you going on vacation, no one would miss you for a couple of weeks. By the time you didn't show up for work and not contact anyone, it would be too late for anyone to know where you had gone or what had happened to you.
I mean, it's kind of hot, but
It gets better.
Oh.
The trail would be cold. Your car is gone. Your clothes are gone. I took the courtesy of stopping your mail. See, I'm very courteous.
Did you forward the mail too? Because you have to. I moved recently.
That was too much work.
Oh.
People will think you just took off. I planned it all very carefully. You're mine now. No one knows where you are. No one could hear you yelling for help as we are out in the middle of nowhere. The man stood up and looked down at Steve's face on the floor. You're on the floor.
Oh, okay.
You'll stay here the rest of the night. The door will be locked and the chair is bolted to the floor. You won't be able to tip it or move it or try to escape. In the morning, you'll see what I have planning for you. I think you'll enjoy it. If you don't, you'll never leave this place. Oh my God.
Wow.
With that, the man bent towards Steve and kissed him through the gag. Oh, that's very sweet. Mwah. He stood, walked to the door, opened it, and went out. He pulled the door closed slowly, watching Steve's face as he did. The door slammed shut, and Steve heard the lock engage. Steve sat in the darkness, the only sound of his heavy breathing.
Is Steve wearing a shirt now?
No, he's naked for the rest of his life.
But what if Steve's cold?
Fine, you can put your shirt on. Anyway, it just gets better than better from there. Poor Steve.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens to Steve. But also you have to have consent to have that kind of scene, which is a whole other story. Make sure you always have consent.
But not in fan fiction. It's fiction.
See, and that's an interesting little thing to break down because the ethics in fan fiction are very complicated. And we'll get into that. Oh, it sounds like our food's here.
Food. Yay!
You are gonna get a good tip.
Gotcha pizza, extra sausage.
Yeah, thanks. I think I actually already gave a tip online, so I'm just gonna slowly close this. Why?
It's not included.
Okay, well, look over there. Have you ever noticed how weird the delivery guys are around here in the city?
No, but I want pizza.
Anyway, I got us a pizza with extra meat today from our sponsor, Adam Mail.
Yummy.
And they sent us some lovely butt toys to fill all sorts of holes.
That's not sausage.
Well, that's actually a dual penetrator. And I'd ordered onion rings, but I guess some nice silicone cock rings will do. And this actually came with a number of different size cock rings, so you can find the size that's perfect for you. And in a stroke of luck, they didn't forget our shower stroker. A stroker you can use in the shower and no lube is required. Oh my God, what?
I'm not flipping you off.
Not yet. But it does look like they gave us some extra meat. And they have a men's classic masturbator sleeve.
Ooh,
Jesus.
that looks good. That's a classic.
Whoop.
Ooh, this is swell.
Well, literally. And comes with a remote, apparently. Not only vibrates, but also inflates as you get excited. So thank you, Adam Mail, for sponsoring today's episode, making it possible to talk about some of our favorite fictitious fan fiction. And what offer code can they use down below, Daddy?
Hopefully Watts, W-A-T-T-S.
For 50% off almost any item,
And free shipping for all orders over $20 in the US.
certain exclusions apply. And something that should be noted, Atomail actually donates a large amount of their proceeds to help fight HIV and AIDS.
That's amazing.
So if you're looking to maybe act out your own fan fiction, act out some of our fan fiction, or just get some butt toys during this pandemic, go check out Atomail and use the offer code WATTS down below. By supporting them, you're supporting us and maybe providing some support.
For your balls.
Oh, I was gonna say through some fiction, but that too. But back to the fiction. And while reading some fan fiction was fun, I also threw out the idea to you guys to give us some fan fiction starters. And there's a bot online that actually writes fan fiction based on the opening. So it's an AI bot that writes fan fiction for you. And so I said, how would you start or set up a fan fiction for Christopher and I? And your responses did not disappoint. So let's see what this bot thinks of some of your openings.
You said openings.
And for the sake of this storytelling, Amp isn't an actual name that AI recognizes, so we're gonna change that to Anthony because then it'll actually know that I'm a person. And the first starter comes from Mrs. Holly. Amp was up late working on a video, refining the last little details, very me. He glanced at the clock in the bedroom corner of his screen. Ugh, I really need to cut it out with these late nights. Just then, there was a low grumbling growl. This is you.
Bobby.
Daddy hungry, Chris stated.
This is how I talk.
Let's see how the AI bot finishes this story.
Smash, smash. Hungry, smash.
It's writing quite the little novel. So we'll go from your line.
Bobby, daddy hungry.
And then the AI bot says, as he knocked on the bottom of his stall door to greet Amp.
Am I a horse?
Yes.
Knock, knock, knock.
But there's no breakfast, Amp pointed out. I couldn't say anything since it was the last time I'll eat dinner with you.
Oh, are we putting the puppy down?
I hope not. Why not? Chris blushed and shook her head.
Her?
Afternoon, the four of us went shopping. We've been in town for only half an hour. How about we split it at 4 and chat there?
So I take it you can't put in pronouns in this bot.
Overpowered by the news, her family, her girlfriend, and their friend Amp were going out for dinner that night. She couldn't believe how happy she was. The four of them were going to her ideal club. Chris answered the bell. Oh, don't forget to ring the bell. And went to the kitchen to get a tray of food. Let me finish the cooking. And just in time, too. Amp strode into the kitchen and bowed his head before stuffing himself with a single.
A single what? Like tip money?
That is the end of chapter 1.
Wait, what's a single?
That's just where it ends. What would you call this fan fiction?
Disappointing.
Next fan fiction. This next story comes from Banjo on Twitter, and it goes, stirring from a deep sleep, Christopher was unable to stretch or grope his puppy. Instead, he was bound and strapped to the bed. Looking up at the ceiling and TV screen.
Wait, why is my TV screen on this ceiling?
Not sure, but time for some torture play, Daddy, Amp said. A cheeky voice came from the corner. Then he played the following.
Oh my god, the puppy really is a top.
Then he played the following sound, off to the side of the floor for several seconds. Lights, windows, connections, which kind of sounds like lights, camera, action, but
Connection.
it's AI, it's not perfect. And then I say, I found something pretty cool today, Daddy. I found a remote-controlled kitten with a film camera stuck up its...
That's oddly specific. And I'm allergic to cats. So you're going to kill me. Meow!
It was clearly emulating the action. He played another few seconds of the torture audio with the same cat-like face. Daddy, I found something really weird. I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but I think I found a way to get Iggy and his lovely wife out of this room.
Why are Iggy and his wife in the room? And are we watching cats on the television on my ceiling?
Possibly. And I don't know who Iggy and his wife are, but I like that the AI is now adding new characters.
New characters.
It goes on.
It's getting kinkier.
When he stopped the screen to show this, I was alarmed. Iggy walked into the room and fixed his expression. He stood in the middle of the floor in a stocking and top hat and a mask on.
I want to know how you fix an expression. It's like, oops.
Light pain. Praise the Lord. Christopher was terrified by this.
Yes, I would be. Do not say praise the Lord and light pain in the same sentence.
Now, Daddy, Amp said. Shut up, Iggy. I've tried to kill you once, but you're stubborn. He then picked up a shiny toy with feathers and feathers. Iggy laughed. Then he disappeared. Then...
Wait, is Iggy the cat?
I think so.
So he's laughing at the cat feather toy.
Then he spun around and became a miniature Batman holding a bottle. The end.
I'm so confused. That could have gone in a really kinky, good direction, but the second you introduce cats to it, I'm dead.
Literally dead.
Literally dead.
What would you call that fanfiction chapter, Daddy?
A snuff film.
Oh. Good terminology. Snuff is actually a type of fanfiction.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna call that one Cat Got Your Tongue. Okay, let's try one more generated story by the AI bot. The next suggestion comes from Peter on Twitter, and it starts, I'm serious. If I hear one more pun out of you, Christopher starts.
Sounds like me.
Clearly exasperated, it had been a long day of filming, and the food they ordered for dinner was running seriously late.
Oh my god.
But they're punderful, Amp replied, feigning innocence. And then, AI continues, they're fantastic, Maldesenia hummed, coming from the other end of the table. He held a glass of water along with his own drink.
Who smelled the Cyndia?
I don't know, but apparently he's over on the end of the table. I looked at them for a second, not completely paying attention to the faces of the three men.
There's 3 men in here now.
But the way they moved. Their attention was on the 3 of us, how the music ticked by quietly. The beer slurping and draining, and not always with the same enthusiasm.
But wait, how does beer drain with enthusiasm? And where's my food?
I think there's a nickname for all 3 of you, Amp stated, walking forward, placing a cup of his drink on the table.
Thank you.
Sensing the discussion, I watched as Amp took a huge gulp of his drink, and his hand pushed the water away from his mouth.
Ooh, why do you have alcohol?
He straightened his suit jacket up in disgust.
Those were your tits.
That was my suit jacket. Those dirty, leaking little dicks. He looked me in the eye.
Dirty little leaking dicks?
Those dirty, leaking little dicks. He looked me in the eyes, the bottom half of his face drawn away. Let's get a table.
Well, sure, you don't want a table under leaking dicks.
With that, Amp stormed from the room, leaving me alone. I took a deep breath and looked around, hoping they'd all go away. Alas, we had not. Cramming as much as I could into my arms, I set up a table in the hall. At the edge of the living room, under the lights, I took a seat.
This doesn't answer where my food is. Where's my food?
I think someone else got your food, but at least we have beer, and they are right about the lights.
And the leaking dicks.
But who the hell's Maldesenia?
She came from Harry Potter.
Okay, and we're gonna put the AI-based fan fiction down.
I don't think we really have to worry about the Terminator universe if that's how it writes, given the descriptions we gave it.
Although if you have some good Terminator fan fiction, you can absolutely send it our way. So what do you think of fan fiction at all, Daddy?
I like some of it if it's hot and kinky.
But if it's made by AI and a little confusing, you know,
Very
not so much.
confusing. Some of those sentences didn't even make sense.
True, but fan fiction in that way can be a little bit more out there. It can be a little bit more creative in some ways.
Yeah, it was overly creative.
But I don't think AI is going to be starting any fan fiction clubs anytime soon. All that said, I don't think it's fair to talk about fan fiction without also talking about the ethics that revolve around it, because it does sometimes talk about real world people, like us, for example.
Right, and if you put those real world people in shady kind of scenarios, they could get upset. Huh?
Absolutely. Or like sexual situations, or maybe even like forcing a character that is canonically straight to be in a gay relationship.
And if it's fiction, does it have to be consensual?
All fair questions. I mean, we saw how derivatives of fan fiction, like for instance, the 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight thing can happen. And in that area, like people are making money, and where does the ethics lie in that? But also, did you know that like One Direction, which is this big band that has a huge following, there's this like slash fiction between 2 of the main band members that actually caused an actual divide and rift within their friendship because of the way that the fandom sexualized them.
Oh.
And it kind of gets into that weird gray area of like, ethically, is that okay?
Well, I mean, the very nature of fiction is that it's fake.
But does that make it okay to sexualize someone who might not want to be in a sexual situation with one of their best friends?
It's probably best to ask them first.
Or are you going to ask the One Direction band members if it's okay to write fiction about them?
Sure, I'll put it out there, ask. If they don't answer, then I'll assume it's okay.
Well, if you and I had one thing to say about fan fiction and just kind of the ethics around it, I'd say that when it comes to fictional characters, like actual fictional characters, so long as they are of legal age and they're being put in these situations that kind of have fun with the series, I don't see a big issue. I think it's a lot about just showing respect and being kind of conscious of the different factors that go into the actual fiction. Like, I don't mind people write fan fiction about us in sexual scenarios because we actually talk about sex all the time and we're very out there and we're okay about that.
And we're in sexual scenarios all the time in our real life.
And at the same time, I don't think that it's wrong to fantasize about certain things, but it's when you put it in that public space and you make it vocal and you put it where people can actually see, experience, or be exposed in that sort of way that I think it can be in a really, pardon the pun, gray area. But what do you guys think? Is fan fiction ethical? Do you want to see more fan fiction from us? Will the Terminator be the next big fan fiction writer in the Twilight universe? And also, are you Team Jacob or Edward?
I'm so confused.
And finally, if you're looking for a sex toy, why not use Adam Mail down below? Offer code WATTS at checkout. You get 50% off and free shipping. And also, oh my God, you're okay. You could actually be a pretty cool headband. You could be a unicorn. Anyway, don't forget to leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this fan-fictitious episode.
Ring the bell if you like ringing bells.
And whether you're writing the fiction, reading the fiction, or you're part of the fiction, always have a safe word. And today's safe word is... Oh God. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. What is it safe? Oh,
Thwarp.
because reading is fundamental. And we will see you guys next time. Bye. You and your fans.
That was pretty good.
That is
Look.
triggering.
But that sounds.
Trigger warning. Today's episode is about fan fiction.
So we could have tied you up.
I don't like this fiction already.
And then,
Oh my God.
ow.
We'll tie you up and then I'll do some impact play with a fan.
That's fine.
Did that hit the spot?
Yeah, that actually feels good.
Are you a fan?
I am. Actually, keep doing that.